Thanks, Marshall. Welcome everyone to today's Q&A version of, on July 23rd, 2025. My name's Gary Grower. I'll be hosting. I'm a data analyst with CSIS, and driving for us today will be Paul Higgins. For announcements, really no flashes or anything came out recently. However, there is a deadline coming up Friday, and that is the 25th. So hopefully everyone is getting their final errors corrected, or hopefully you don't have any errors by now and you're looking at your reports and verifying the accuracy of them. I know we do have a few issues with some of the reports, but I don't believe we have too many reports that are the aggregate ones that you certify on that have any issues. It may be some of the supporting reports. So if your aggregate reports are good to go, should be okay to certify. And also you probably are okay to certify because we do have that 2-week amendment window. And that way, if there is corrections that need to be made on your end or on our end, hopefully that happens within the next 2 weeks. So you can always LA unapprove and then reapprove after that. Angela is, I don't think is online yet. She'll be here a little bit later for any known issues or when the fixes are going in. But Paul's showing you the active issues that we have right now. So if you see those listed, know that we are working on them, and hopefully we can get most of these taken care of by next update on Tuesday. CD, Sean, do you have any announcements?
No, Paul. I'm sorry, no, Gary, not at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Paul and I are the same, so you can call us whatever you want. And Dominic, anything from the SPED side?
Nothing new. We did have the webinar yesterday, or the office hours for the data anomalies. So hopefully everybody was able to attend that and get at least some questions answered. We should have the recording available soon. In the meantime, if you're still working through validations and you need assistance, go ahead and send that email to SPED data support or the ticket to the service desk and address it to us, and we'll be able to assist you through those avenues.
Great, thank you. Okay, let's see if I can this window the right size here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on questions. We have an hour to get through these. Hopefully there's not as many as there was in that Q&A that Dominic was just talking about, because they got up to almost 100 questions. Did you
Randy
guys
even talking by the end of that?
That was crazy. Okay, so first question is from Rebecca. Q1, when will the validation rules be released live for the 25-26 academic year? SACE has us waiting until September 9th because they said that is when CALPADS does their rollover, along with implementing new validation rules applicable to our 25-26 academic year data. Forgot to mention that they said they want us to wait, otherwise we will get errors after the fact once CALPADS releases the new rules. This will mean that we will have to fix the data in CALPADS and SACE. This is so they have their code sets updated to match CALPAD validation rules for 25-26. Otherwise, SACE won't catch issues if we start uploading 25-26 files right now. I don't know that I have a specific date. I know generally we recommend waiting until after end of year is over, which is just a couple more weeks. I don't know if anyone else on the call knows any exact dates, but it usually is around that September.
No, I agree with you, Gary. It should be right around mid-September, right after everything closes. It's usually in the next 1 to 2 builds.
Yeah, and sorry to jump in. I know that some SACE users have submitted data, but I would recommend sticking with your vendor recommendations on this. If they're telling you that you should hold off, it's probably for a good reason.
Sounds good. Okay, Q1 from Susan. I have a handful of families that have the SPRG 181 as of October 31st, 2024, and then a change of status in February or May. Should the first SPRG be closed and the new status open if it changes over the year? I think once you have the status, it's good in CALPADS for the whole year. I don't I don't know that we usually tell people to go in and close it and reopen another one.
Well,
Um,
if they changed from
Oh,
like
change, that's true.
a change from a reduced price to a free, then yeah, you'd close the 182 and add a 181 using the next calendar day.
That's right. I missed the change part. I was thinking it was the same. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Okay, Q1 from Angela. If the LAAs need to decertify, make changes during the amendment window before recertifying, will those changes be reflected in the California school dashboard accordingly, as long as the LAAs certify them by the amendment window deadline? Yes, 100%. The deadline is to allow for any last minute updates or changes, bug fixes to go in. And so they actually use the data from the final amendment window deadline. But hopefully that is just using the amendment is just to make some minor tweaks in the data and not a complete, oh, let's get started on end of year now. You know, hopefully everyone's done by the initial deadline. And then there's just, oh, you know what, we forgot a few things. Decertify, or, you know, make your changes, check your reports. If the new reports look better, then decertify, and then you can go right in and recertify your corrected report.
Thanks, Gary. All of that's accurate. I just want to make sure that Angela understands that just because you make a change into CalPADS, it does not necessarily mean that it will show up on the dashboard, and that because that depends on the dashboard's calculations. Okay, so please take into account the different calculations and ensuring all of that information matches up then for your CalPADS reports into the calculations in order to qualify as showing up for dashboard. And so where you find that information is the CalPADS to the dashboard handbook and then the dashboard technical guides.
Great, thanks, Sean. Good
My
information.
pleasure.
Question 1 from Selena. I had a question in regards to the 16.21 report. I pulled the 16.21 report on July 15th, 2025, and followed the video instructions from Dominic on how to check which students would be on the prong 2 determination letter. When I tried to run it today, July 23rd, it gave me a whole new set of students that were not previously on my report from July 15th. What is concerning is that I had not fixed all of those students from the report on July 15th, and I expected to see some of those students on my list from July 23rd. Is there any known issue in regards to the 16.21? No issue I know of, but Dominic, is there?
Sorry, I'm trying to unmute. I don't know of any issues specific to 1621. I would say that if you're running the report as of the 15th and then as of the 23rd, any enrollments that you posted may now be including more students. So we would just kind of need to know some more details. So Selena, if you want to send in a ticket, that's probably going to be the best bet. Include a few SSIDs that maybe you expected to see or did not, and we can take a further look for you.
Thank you. Okay. A question from Alarni, and it looks like Adriana answered something about data governance. So that's look in the answer section for that answer. Q1 from Alex. Not sure if you answered questions regarding the UBA upload to the EDCS Sunbucks collection. Not sure if I answer or we answer questions regarding the UBA upload to EDCS, the Sunbuck collection. If so, I'll proceed with my question. We need to verify some of the applications which involve contacting families to request income documentation. When doing this, if we find that the information provided was incorrect and the student is no longer eligible Sunbucks, would it be possible to remove them from the EDCS? Sean, anyone? Not sure about that.
Can somebody bring up flash 305? I think it's 305. I'm sorry, I don't know who's driving.
Paul's driving.
Thanks, Paul. Is that it?
I think it
No,
might be 307.
thank you, Alex. I was close.
Yep.
Sorry, Paul.
There's only 300 flashes.
Right.
That part. Mhm. There's a little bit. And so I can't answer about the information that's provided to you. I cannot answer information about the information that's provided to you locally, Alex. That's your correction process and identifying. That's going to be a local process because I don't know to what degree they misidentified something. But if there is your EDCS is the full replacement file. So any students that you're updating, whether adding or deleting, you'll see that there. And thanks, Paul, for bringing that up because that's what I wanted to make sure. So again, it's just going to be that full replacement file, so you're going to see it there. But as far as the specifics of information that you're receiving that may be inaccurate, corrections.
Okay, and she says she didn't know. She's got it. Didn't know it was a full replacement files.
Yeah.
I think we
No,
answered
that's
her
what I wanted to make sure. That's why I wanted them to pull up the flash because I thought it said it.
Great. Okay, we're 14 minutes in. No questions. Oh, here we go. Question 1 from me. Does transferring to an adult ed program, the exit code T260, remove a student from the 4-year cohort? I thought it did. I thought it did not ever since T270 was retired, but it seems like it does now. Exit code T260. We have the outcomes that Paul's bringing up that will tell us if that code is.
All right, give me a minute. I'm gonna have to go into the training docs. Hold on.
Okay. The training docs will tell us what status that the student T260 will have in the 4-year cohort.
Okay, so it's my first day back and I'm a little slow. And I was seriously talking to the computer. I even said, thanks, Paul. So let's start over.
Hey, no problem. You're welcome.
So, from my understanding, no, T260 does not remove a student from the cohort because they are then counted as exiting your system. And you would still have to mark whether a completer or not completer for that 12th grade. So no, it would not remove them from your cohort. I know it's in the technical guide that states it, and I can tell you where. I think in the technical guide it's like by the email.
Lou says, I believe they moved to the other transfer.
And here is what I have from the technical guide. And I will post that in the chat because I don't want to lose the question. And it's too long, so it's not going to let me post all of it, so I got to break it up. So who is in the cohort for your denominator? And then the minus students who can remove from your cohort.
The other way that I looked for it was in our mapping guide for 15.2,
Oh, yeah, thanks.
and then just Control F for T260, and then you see what column it counts under.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, Rebecca Aguilar says that they are still included in the cohort. If you think they should be in there and they're not, Ethan, go ahead and put a ticket in, and we'll do some investigation. And if it is a bug, we'll get that in. Although I don't think anything has changed in the cohort lately, so
No.
hopefully the reports wouldn't have a defect. So, but we can definitely look into it. Thanks for all the information, everyone. And I'll leave that up for a little bit in the open, and then it'll move to the answered. But Rebecca has a cheat sheet, and Angela has some good information there. Next question from Sharmila. Hello, last week I had a question about TOMS. I was told someone would reach out to me, assist with that. Just want to follow up about that. Did you put a ticket in? I don't know. Or were you expecting someone to follow up this week at the top on the Q&A? Vaguely.
So Sharmila, I'm pretty sure we would have asked you to put in a ticket so we could follow up. So if you have a ticket number, you can slide that ticket number into your question. I can gladly look into it. Yeah, so if you can go ahead and place a ticket, that would be great, so we can follow up.
Okay. Shelley says she believes Angela said her monitor would contact her. She is new. But I would recommend putting a ticket in, because that way we have a paper trail and we don't lose contact.
Yeah.
Okay, Q1 from Sonoan. The EOI report 1.23, grads and completers. I have a grad missing from the report. Is it because she's a 5th-year senior? She graduated 8/14/2024. I think
So was she reported last year?
last year, yeah, because the cutoff is goes to 8/6 from 8/16 to 8/15 of the next year. So yeah,
And
so
that's
that
what
would have been in last year's report.
So you should be looking at last year's report. If you certified with that information, she should have showed up there, son.
Okay, Q1 from Clarissa. As a COE, we have students with mostly short-term enrollments. Our CALPADS and special ed team are not sure what to do about the program setting field on the IEP when we adopt the same plan for our court school students, which is what we usually do. However, the program setting doesn't have correctional facility. In order to change the program setting, our SPED team says an amendment needs to take place, and oftentimes these court students exit in just a few days. Do we need to change the program setting on the IEP or just adopt the same plan as is?
Audrey posted a link to the FAQ, which is correct. Essentially, when you're adopting this plan, it's meant for you to make any changes to the program setting, such as if the student's going into a correctional facility or that sort of thing. So in the course of adopting the plan, maybe you need to edit the transaction or however that may work in your special education data system, but you can at that point update the program setting to reflect what's going to be provided for the student at that location, and then you don't require a further amendment to make that change.
Awesome. Question one from Shauna. This hasn't come up previously in my district. We have an 11th grader graduating from summer school. Would I treat them just as I would a 12th grade summer grad? The student graduated from our continuation high school, which is an extension of the 24-25 school year, if it matters. Yeah, if they're graduating as an 11th grader, it would be just like as if they were a 12th grader.
As far as the 1-day enrollment, that's what she's asking about, right?
Oh, yeah, probably. Okay, Q1 from Eva. Which report is the best to review the parent's ed level? Good question. There's a lot probably that have that. I don't know which one would be the best. One of the 8.1 reports?
That's what I was gonna say, Gary. Because I
Yeah.
think that 8.1 has the columns for each of the parent 1 and parent 2.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. Q2 from Larissa. A couple of our students with disabilities graduated this spring, and we've exited enrollment and status. On end of year report 3.11, there's no primary disability listed. Is this okay? Audrey says, did you exit the student the day after their enrollment exit? That's the recommendation to ensure SWDS is show on the reports correctly. That's a good point, Audrey.
Yeah, and that guidance would only apply to those graduates that are earning a standard diploma. So that kind of also depends, Clarissa, on what's going on. So with that, we would basically need that extra information. If you want to send in a ticket for this as well, we can take a look at any SSIDs that you include and determine what's going on.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions so far.
Guess everyone's done with EOI and they're
Yeah,
just
no, it's like break time.
chilling. Yeah.
I had a user that was almost ready to certify their end of year 3, and they uploaded a stats record in the batch file with one record.
Oh.
And the next revision, they had 5,000 errors because they removed all their other stats records. But then she re-uploaded it again. But it's one thing to be careful of is watch those operational keys. Question from Joy. For Dominic, when do you think the recording from the meeting yesterday will be sent out? I have several districts that could not attend.
I'm afraid I don't have that answer, unfortunately. Hopefully soon. We know that it is very time sensitive, of course. So once it is available, the notification will go out on the SPED data support listserv, but I just don't have that information. I'm sorry.
Oh, Terry, if you could put your question, copy and paste it into the Q&A, so Marshall will have it in the transcript and not put it in the chat. Thank you. Stephanie says, I just wanted to thank Paul for answering my question yesterday regarding why students were not showing up on my report. It was a simple answer that I should have caught. Paul, thanks for your amazing patience.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, Q1 from Terry. How does a student graduate with an adult transcript this summer? The student did not graduate from the regular high school and is taking summer school as an adult. Will the student be a dropout at the traditional site?
We don't report adult school. Is that what she's asking?
Yeah, I think that's what she's asking. So basically, they dropped out of high school and have gone back to adult school to get their diploma, I guess. But I think they would count as a dropout.
Yeah, so you would
CALPADS,
just
yeah.
report how they ended at that high school. So if they transferred to adult school, then you place transfer to adult school, Terry. And you have, or isn't there another one that says transfer to adult school and completed?
Yeah.
Alex is shaking
I
her
don't
head,
remember-
yes.
I
I
don't
don't
remember
remember
which
code off.
code that is, but yes.
Yeah, I was like, you would just report how they actually completed. And
I think there's two, one if they transfer and I'm completing, and one if they're transferring and they don't complete, but I can't remember what the codes are.
yeah,
Q1 from Jennifer. What is the best practice for correcting race ethnicity? I was doing it similar. I have a problem with that word. Similar, I'm not even sure, to legal name changes where effective date was when we were informed, but found out that on the 8.1 EO3 shows that race ethnicity of all SIMP records spanning the enrollment. So should race ethnicity corrections be retroactive to the start of their enrollment record? Funny you ask that, because both Alex and I have this same question with our requirements folks, and it turns out we thought it should be the most recent, but it turns out it is showing all of the SIMP records in the academic year. In the academic year. I don't know that I had one. Sometimes when you create an SSID, it creates a stub SIMP record, and then someone will go along and put another record. Instead of editing that record, they'll add another one. So you have a stub record that basically doesn't have any information in it, just basic information. And then the real one that they had with all the information, and both were showing on the report. And I did have the user just delete the stub record, or they could have edited it and added parent information and race, ethnicity, and such. I don't know that that it's showing up multiple times on the report, if it's going to throw anything off as far as data analysis, because then why do the requirements say they're going to use anyone that's in there?
Can they just use the same effective start date, similar to how you upload and update the stub record? So if you submit a new SINT record with the same effective date, it would amend that
Fill
current
it up.
record. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Karen. That would be a recommendation.
I think
that's correct. But it also, she's asking for the best practice of when correcting it. So to me, it just depends on when you got the information. So it's going to go down to your local practice. Within CALPADS, we say records should be updated within 14 days. So I can't say that you should go back to the beginning of the school year or not. Not if you got the information in June and y'all started in August. Like, again, so that's where it goes back to what's your local practice. As far as legal name changes should be updated based upon the date that a judge ordered that the legal name change took effect. And I forget what flash or what record that's in that Kyron did. I want to say it's in the user manual.
For the name change.
Say it again, Kai.
For the name change, yeah.
For the name
Yes.
change, it's
Yes.
based on when they got the new information with legal documentation. And it should only be done manually online because it's a two-step process.
Yeah, no, I was saying where's I think you created a process or the process listed somewhere. I want to say it's in the user manual, but I'm not positive.
Oh, I'll have
That's
to
what I was
check.
asking.
Okay.
Okay. So Jennifer Kai's gonna get back to us on that one and see if it's in the user manual. I thought it was because we had this discussion not that long ago.
Natasha's asking in a Q1, why is a legal name change a two-step process that must be done manually? I have been uploading SIMP updates.
My best answer is that's because that's the way that Brandy taught us. Which isn't.
Oh, I mean, I think my answer was more towards if a legal name change is associated with a gender change too. So essentially, the name and the gender would be updated, and so that's a two-step process. But for
Uh,
just one, for if it's just a name change without the gender change, then a simple upload would be fine.
There was one error that was fixed yesterday, the PSTS or something.
81.
481E4.
Yeah. So just to mention, if you have that now, it was fixed yesterday, but we've been getting a lot of tickets and folks still have them. But what we're finding is it's valid now. So if you have that error now, it is valid. And I found on the ticket I had, the user was exiting their students with a T160, but not a completion. And really, you don't send up a PSTS record unless they've completed. So
Well,
they,
the list of acceptable exit coding is written into the user manual entry. Not all of them are completers. Some of them are transfers and others. But if you look at the entry in the user manual, it's going to explain everything. The time frame you're looking for is last year. The
yes.
exit coding is all spelled out in the understanding the error portion. If they don't have an exit code in the right window that matches the list of available or appropriate codes, then they should not have PSTS data in the system for this year.
Thanks, Paul. Q2 from Rebecca. Do the accountability and monitoring reports impact the end of year 4 reports? We are working on the compliance issues posed for the call from yesterday, but SELPA asked if they are impacting the snapshots. Do they overlap in some cases?
Not necessarily. The monitoring reports are looking at things like timelines and that sort of content. And so we're not certifying timelines at end of year. We're certifying plans in place and meetings that were held and services and statuses. And those are, all sort of informed by the process, and timelines are informed by that as well. But the monitoring reports are essentially looks at compliance, whereas your snapshots are sort of like the everything, the whole picture of the student that you're certifying.
Great. Well, like it required changes to exit codes and or exit dates, like no-shows, or where an E155 exit code was needed. Oh, so she's talking about
I
to make
see.
it.
Okay, yeah. Certainly, if you're needing to update, data to reconcile compliance issues, then in order for that data to be recognized in the certified end of year 4, it's going to require, a new revision and that sort of a thing. I apologize. I was speaking more towards timelines and the sort of things that don't necessarily impact the end of year. I had considered items like exit dates. So I guess the answer is it depends.
Okay. And she says, thank you. That's what she told them. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, from Hong. When does the 15.1 and 15.2 usually refresh? I had added some grads with diplomas completion yesterday, but they are still not, but they are still showing up as a dropout today. Well, I've heard two different things, but for sure they should be updating overnight. So if you added them yesterday and you've got a new revision, or no, actually, well, even if you've got new revisions, but now it's the next day and they're still not showing up how you expect, definitely put a ticket in so we can double check. But then I also heard these reports are live and should update the same day that you do them. So I don't know. I lean towards the overnight because that's what I experience more. Yeah, thanks, Angela. That's her experience as well. So yeah, if you've checked the students and they have the right completion status and everything, and they're still showing up as dropout, dates, things like that are, things that we would check to see, but definitely, put a ticket in so we can try and find out why. But I haven't seen any issues with this report. So it would be something we would want to check. From Shelley, Q1, what is the correct procedure for a new SELPA director to get a CalPADS account? Do you know about how long the process takes? Does the LA admin create the SELPA account or does CDE create the SELPA account?
CDE does.
Okay, so you have to put in a ticket asking for a SELPA account and then that gets escalated to you guys, CDE?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we know who they're replacing because they can still only have 2. So, and then Dominic, do we ever figure out who updates that table?
I believe it's Alexa Slater. So
Got
when
it.
that comes through, yeah, you can just flag us.
Somehow or another, we worked that through. We're fine.
And for us, she goes, does the SELPA put it in or does she, and I
They
don't
put
know
in
that
a
it
ticket.
matters. As long as the information is in the ticket of who the person's going to be.
Yeah, it would be best for the SELPA though, so it doesn't create confusion. We've had that before where other people are trying to help out and we're like, wait, you already have 2 people. So I recommend the SELPA putting it in themselves. Shelley.
And I put on the chat the link to the user manual, has the SELPA, welcome SELPA
SELPA.
users.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for all the great questions, everyone, and thanks for all the help from everyone from CDE and from CSIS and from you guys out there in the LA land that put in all those good links and replies.
And you guys, we'll see you next week. All right.
Thanks, Marshall.
You're welcome. Have a good
Bye-bye.
day, guys.